Hey, everybody. Welcome to Here's Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad, my friend. I don't know if I just changed our intro there. My brain scrambled and stopped for a moment. We are here to give a news roundup of what month in 2023? I believe it's June. And maybe at the end, if you're all very lucky, we're going to give you a few hints at what we reckon you need to be excited about in July 2023. Paul, breaking news. The day before we go live on our news roundup episode is all about one very famous superhero. And it ain't, actually, you know what, we'll get the other one out of the way real quick. It ain't The Flash. And the announcement of the casting for Superman may be partially because they want to take the whiff out of the air from the Flash movie's financial failure.
Yeah, well, I think we weren't going to be too surprised about the financials for Flash. It was like there's no investment in it anymore, really, and I don't mean kind of I mean emotional investment.
Yeah,
because it's not the beginning. Sorry, it is the beginning of something, but it's the beginning of something completely different. Excuse me, and it's which is the ending of something that So there's no, and it's not the ending in a kind of like Infinity War end game kind of thing. It's more kind of like, yeah, we're shutting the front door, locking it, closing the shutters, and kind of like that kind of level of kind of saying goodbye. So yeah, the movie not doing well financially.
and that's the thing. It opened very poorly, so I'm going to just go ahead and say I've seen it. I think it was a good movie. I don't think it was a great movie. I don't think it was a terrible movie. I think it was overhyped by those that liked it. I think it was unfairly bashed by those that didn't want to like it or had never seen it. But it didn't really stand much of a chance because you can't blame a movie when it does, a movie itself, when it does so terribly on opening night. Because not enough people have seen it for there to be genuine bad word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I know there was lots of previews. The Flash had a whole lot of things hanging around its neck. But Paul, I want to move into the more positive or interesting or exciting story. And that is, sorry for The Flash. It deserved better as a movie. But hey, lost a whole load of money. Now, what do you do when you need to palate cleanse? You announce something else. And that something, Paul, was the Superman Legacy casting. Superman Legacy officially.
Superman Legacy. Yeah. That's so the announcement of the Lois and Clark, which was actors who are going to play the Superman, Kal-El,
Can I just
Clark
say,
Kent.
Paul and I, we should have probably done rock, paper, scissors before we started. One of us has to pronounce these names, Paul, and I'm just going to say, not me, it's you.
Okay, so it's David Cohen-Sweat, which goes maybe got the name wrong. Like we're having an argument, not an argument. We're having a discussion over the second name kind of
How do you
pronunciation.
pronounce it? Corn sweat? Corn sweat? Sweet? Corn sweet?
Corn sweet. Let's
Corn
just say
sweet.
David Sweetcorn. So David Cornsmith, he is going to be playing which is Kal-El, Clark Kent, aka Superman, which is an interesting role, or an interesting move for the DC, which is James Gunn helmed universe. David is slightly an unknown actor in the sense that he hasn't done any kind of massive blockbuster kind of shows. This will be the first, probably. In my experience, it'll be the first actually of my knowledge of him for blockbusters and movies sort of thing. So now I'm going to go through his backlog of TV shows and movies, and I'm definitely going to have a look and see what he's like.
Yeah.
Which is, as a one and done person on the DC universe kind of thing, it has intrigued me that they've decided to go with a fairly unknown person to kind of really cleanse like the palette of everything going on. But Rachel
Brosnahan. I'll take that one. Rachel Brosnahan. It's easy.
Yeah. Rachel Brosnahan is going to be playing which is Lois Lane. I've seen her in a couple of things. She's been very good, very interesting kind of character. In plenty of them, she's in the Blacklist for a short period of time.
She's an Emmy winner for Miss Maisel. Yeah. Multiple Emmy winner possibly for the marvelous Miss Maisel.
I should have opened instead of Blacklist where she was like in the first season. I should have said, "Oh yeah,
But she does have significantly a larger body of work that I've seen. She may not have a larger body of work than Mr. Cohen Sweet, than David. But she's definitely been in a load of things that I've seen. I liked Maisel. I watched. I think she's a talented person, and as a one and maybe more person rather than a one and done, she's the thing that's now made me excited. I'm like, they're giving the Lois Lane character to somebody who has proven themselves to be able to throw themselves into a character and make it happen. Like, she won Emmys for Marvelous Miss Maisel, not just because the show's good, but because she really took the role on and ran hard with it. And I think your introduction to Superman needs a strong Lois Lane.
It does. Like, this is the one thing that I will say is very positive. The announcements of the two actors have been very positive for me. The sense that they are a fairly unknown actor for me anyway. Coming in as Superman is a good kind of palate cleanser, as I said. Rachel, yeah, that's an interesting one in the sense that she's a very strong actor. That it's going to be very good to have her play Lois Lane, who is a very strong personality within the Superman kind of sphere. So I'm interested. They've piqued my interest in the sense that they've gone over the first hurdle, I guess, for me anyway, to be interested in the movie.
Well, Paul, we do this because it's a good reason for the two of us to make sure that we get to talk to each other every week. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do exactly that. Talk to my friend Paul. You're the Superman one of the two of us. Not that give away. Damn, I've outed you. You are Superman. No, but he thought Clark Kent's too on the nose. This time I'm doing another name. But yeah, no, Paul, aka Superman, is the one of the two of us that is more into and knows more about. Superman, I know about. It's not that I dislike, just not necessarily a character that I've ever gravitated towards. But theatrically, like, I loved the Donner Superman, loved Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, loved the whole thing. And I'm always excited for more Superman. Like, I go in hoping this is going to be the one, this is going to be great, we're going to recapture some magic here, or show me something I've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Reeve was not a household name. He was a stage actor, I think.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh the next one? He was, I guess, for Superman Returns.
Yeah.
He was not a big name actor of any kind of massive note, and I had no problem with him or his performance the whole film. Then we had Henry Cavill, who before being cast as Superman, I'll be honest, would not have been able to tell you his name shown a picture. I would have gone, he looks familiar, I think I've seen him in something, but that's about as famous as he was. This guy is maybe even he's more the Brandon Routh level for me. You know, you show me his picture and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything. So they have a long history of doing that. So it's the Lois Lanes that are interesting to me. Margot Kidder, incredibly strong-willed performance, and I loved her kind of Lois Lane fighty shoutiness. And if you even want to go to the TV shows like Lois and Clark, The New Adventures with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Dean Cain, not a super famous person. Terry Hatcher, not super famous. She'd done a lot at that stage. She's the intelligent, but I don't know if the right word is the right word. She was supposed to be the sexy interpretation of Lois Lane, or at least they played it off that way a bit. Yeah. There was definitely an attractiveness end that they tried to push with her character. I loved that show. Thought it worked well. Kate Bosworth? Bosworth was the Lois Lane for the Batman Returns. I didn't really know her. Yeah, for the one with Kevin Spacey was the bad Lex Luthor. I think it was Kate Boswell. Boswell?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, that is just nice. Yeah,
her name is either the guy from Charlie's Angels or not, Bosworth or Boswell. But all along the way here, what I'm saying is, no matter who you put in as Superman, if you can get your Lois Lane right, it really does help. I don't mind how all this works out as long as James Gunn is doing what James Gunn says he will do. And what he says he will do is he will just cast the best people. Like, he will take whoever suits his vision best. If they're super famous, great. If they're nobodies, great. If they're in between, brilliant. This sends a pretty good message of he's looking for people in chemistry. then I'm actually genuinely excited by this casting.
Like it seems like a lot brighter, which I think David Cornsworth also came out and said that he loved Henry Cavill's Superman. It was a little bit more kind of dark and grittier than Superman would be normally, and he's happy to kind of move into a more kind of lighter Superman. So I already agree with that kind of thing, where I believe that Superman should be lighter than any of the other characters. He should be brighter. He's meant to be a staple within for morality and ethics and goodness and justice and all that kind of stuff. So having him kind of a little bit darker is a little bit bad. So I'm interested. They've caught me. And then Lois Lane has to be a very strong character, because they like Lois Lane is the reporter of the world, of the Superman world, and it doesn't even matter that she reports on Superman. She is a investigative reporter who is not afraid of getting her hands dirty, in the sense of getting sneaking into places and getting dirt, and revealing the truth and stuff like that. So it's very important that they balance each other out in a lot of the storylines. So, because you have to have one person who is physically strong, and then a person who's also that person is Superman has to be physically strong, and also which is mentally willed to make sure that he doesn't ever break any of his rules. And then on the other side of that, you have to have someone who's vulnerable, and it's not the damsel in distress, but someone who is vulnerable, but who understands that some things are worth taking the risk to reveal the truth, and takes that risk with their strong will and their intelligence. So having that balance is really important, and I do think that they've slightly nailed it here, so I'm really excited about it. So
yeah, no, I'm down for this. I think and I heard somebody else quote this one from the original Superman movies, where it's Lois Lane shouts at Jimmy Olsen, it's not a great it's not a great story. It's all news. It's great journalists that make it a great story, and you're yeah, there you go. That's her attitude. She's dogged chasing the news and wants the facts, but she wants to report the facts with chutzpah, whatever your favorite phrase is. I did, Paul, hear one other casting rumor, and it's not the one that's in our chat from Pop Culture, which I should point out. Hey, Pop Culture, great to have you with us. I hope you're well, my friend. First of all, you're saying that you're happy about Rachel Brosnahan. You thought she was good in Miss Maisel, which is cool. Which I also have no idea what the proper spelling is. But you're saying you hope she gets something better than what Amy Adams had to work with. Well, here's something. I thought Amy Adams either had a terrible Lois written for herself or performed it terribly. Up until you just said this, I've kind of been blaming Amy Adams, but maybe you're right. Because Amy Adams did not work for me as Lois Lane at all. At all.
I agree, and I think that was the character, not Amy Adams, because Amy Adams in Arrival is absolutely fantastic.
Exactly. But is she the right choice for Lois? I never really felt she was the right. And you know what? I'm really glad this comic came up, because my head had written it down. My note was Amy Adams ruined role, whereas you're right. She probably wasn't given the right role to begin with.
No, she was in that. It felt like more of a damsel in distress, kind of like Lois Lane, which is with aspects of actual Lois Lane. So yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
The rumor there is Pop Culture says rumor has it that Brendan Fraser be Papa Kent, good old Jonathan Kent, as long as it doesn't have to do what Kevin Costner had to do and do the whole you wait there now, whatever that gesture was. As long as we don't have to relive that, I'm fine. I love Brendan Fraser, so you could have him as anything, except maybe the other casting rumor, Paul. Lex Luthor, because you know who they're talking might be Lex Luthor, Mr. Sarsgaard himself, older brother Sarsgaard, Iceman from Generation Kill to me. Even though he's done so much since, that's all he'll ever be to me. My first love in that case is my true love with his characters.
Yeah, he also played Tarzan.
Yes, he has played Tarzan. That man, he has a bit of presence. How do you feel about him as your Lex Luthor if he ends up essentially seeming more imposing from a physical point of view than Superman. Because I know physicality, Superman could be, he could be my size and shape, and still he's Superman, so he's going to kick anybody's ass.
No,
but
so yeah, no, I get it. Like Alexander Skarsgård is really, really good. He's a really good character actor as well. He does have a really good presence on stage and everything. So that's the on stage. He has a very good presence on screen because he's quite tall. I do think that David Coulthard and him are relatively around the same heights.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. So not like over. I do think that Skarsgård is a little bit taller, but that's still important because Lex Luthor needs to be still somewhat dominating in a sense of a human kind of capacity, because he is a very strong-willed person. He's very which is capable through his intellect. But then Skarsgård also has that he has played menacing characters like quite well.
True Blood being a good example.
Exactly, yeah. I was going to say True Blood is a really good example of that kind of. That's a little bit of an obsessive kind of thing, but he has that subtle kind of like he says a word and you're just like, that word doesn't mean what he just said. I feel like I'm in danger all of a sudden kind of thing. Like that's what Lex Luthor is very good at. He's very good at kind of like owning a room, being pompous, but then being very tactful or tactical and sharp-willed. So I'm interested in that. Brendan Fraser as Jonathan Kent, man, that guy's Brendan Fraser is pretty good. So I'm really happy with that kind of casting.
If those two castings came true, I'd be all on for it. If you can, that whole thing, no matter how good an actor you are, you're a better actor if your screen partner is brilliant. And you saw that an awful lot with people who acted around Jack Nicholson. He would raise their game in scenes over his career. So Sarsgaard, if I'll park my reservations around him maybe dominating scenes if David Cornswet is able to kind of latch on to that, and if they're the type of actors who work well together and it elevates tension and elevates everything else, that'd be great. Personally, I would give him I'd give Sarsgaard the job just based on the fact that you need somebody who can play greed and malevolence. Like almost envy and greed and malevolence. And I've seen him do that in other roles. So I the casting, I never thought I'd say this, but so far, like I wasn't too interested in Superman Legacy overall. Like I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait. I was curious. Casting news has actually made me kind of go, come on, let's get on with this now. I want to see it. Get it written, get it filmed, get it done. So good work.
They definitely succeeded in their kind of like getting our attention away from Flash.
Yeah. The what? Yeah, forgot Flash. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I'm interested, and I hope the rumors are true. And but yeah, great casting. So.
Well, Paul, we spent a while on that, but I think it's worthwhile because it's big news and it's topical and it should help our search. That's not why we did it, but hopefully it will. Please, algorithm people.
We're comic book nerds. You can just check the backlog.
Yeah, it's true. Actually,
this is definitely on point.
You're lucky that we're stopping so soon. In fact, Paul, do you mind if I throw into the next story real quick? Then it's a short one. We mentioned it this month that of all of the big movies coming out, Flash and Elemental and all these things that where there's anticipation. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they going to do well? Are they not? Some of them are bombings. Other ones aren't. All this stuff. In the middle of it all, for me, I kept mentioning, I want to see how No Hard Feelings does. Because it's a real litmus test. It's a flare in the fiery sky of, can comedies work still in theatrical cinema the way they used to? Jennifer Lawrence, does she still have the juice in Hollywood? Is this, a career reboot, restart, resurgence for her? There's also kind of, is there still an appetite for the raunchy comedy? All of these things to be answered. Yeah. There seems to be a resounding yes, simply because it hasn't done too badly. Is it even going to break even financially, theatrically? Probably not. But with everything around it kind of failing, it hasn't missed the mark by very much. In fact, it's outperformed its projections, but very well. and it's owned by Sony, I believe. So that means it's going to Netflix. Paul, can you think of any movie that is going to be more, oh, brilliant, that's on streaming now, than something like this? Because it was advertised well. Everybody knows it's a cinema movie. Jennifer Lawrence, star power. I think this is one of those things that for Jennifer Lawrence, it's been a success, but it's also kind of put the idea that maybe there's a gap in this whole movie model to put some comedies out there again.
I agree. No, I think this is a kind of one where it's like you get overwhelmed right now with the blockbusters kind of things that you might just be like, I think I'll go see that. And also it's built the intrigue. It's built the interesting kind of like, kind of thing. So yeah, I do think No Hard Feelings is going to do. I think it's going to do well overall. I don't think it's going to be a blockbuster or like or a record keeper or anything like that. But I do think it's going to go a little bit over its. I think it's going to make money. But that's the other thing is it is a film in which it's not required to go to the cinema. So I like it's going to do well on both. I think it's going to be because it's like it's the middle kind of like, oh, I've gone to see that blockbuster and now I have to go see this one kind of thing. And what's this? Oh, I'll go sit down and watch this and just have a little bit of a laugh, knowing I'm like going in for a laugh kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely think this is going to do well, and I definitely think that the whole mentality of it being put where it is great.
I'm just amazed that anybody went to the cinema to see it. I watched the trailer and I'm like, that is the best example of a streaming movie I've ever seen that's going to be released in the theaters. I really hope it does well because it might start getting us some more of that kind of middle budget, lower to mid budget comedy movies, because there's been such a dry up. Everything is cinematic universe or horror movie.
Yep.
They're the ones that are making the money. So I'm just over the moon. When I saw the box office after its first weekend, I was like, yay. One person left their house to see this and didn't go, it'll be on Netflix next month anyway. That's a good sign for cinema. So there you go. Thank you, Paul, for allowing me that diversion. What would you like next on the news list?
Well, we'll continue on with some of the superhero stuff. So Blue Beetle, which is we've been told that, and I'm going to butcher this name, the main character, the main actor, Zola Marandian. I'm just terrible.
If it was written down in front of me, I'd give it a go. Sorry, I can't help you though.
No, but he's playing which is it doesn't matter. Which is so the I'm gonna butcher the name anyway. So he's preparing for more sequels and crossovers. So they're already planning to bring in the Blue Beetle into the DC universe as a multiple kind of character. So which means that they show a lot of confidence and a lot of hopefully they've shown the character a lot of respect. So that's kind of an interesting kind of one that the movie isn't even out yet, but we're already getting stories of them preparing for sequels and crossover movies and stuff. So
James Gunn was very clever with his word choice. He said that Superman Legacy will be the first DCU movie, but when he was talking about Blue Beetle, he said Blue Beetle is the first DCU character. As in, the first DCU character you're going to see on film is Blue Beetle. Not that Blue Beetle was a DCU film because it was made before he took over. Clever word use, but you're right. It shows a surprising amount of confidence. He must like enough of what he's seen or enough about what they've told him about where they went with the story that he thinks, yeah, I can make this Blue Beetle thing part of my future. Sequels being talked about this far out in a time of so much change. Yeah, it is. It's an impressive vote of confidence.
That's the thing. So I wanted to just bring it here and kind of let it known that it's kind of like that's an interesting kind of one of kind of confidence and that.
This is one that we'll be able to refer back to going, do you remember when Paul said, and I'll be like, I remember us saying this, Paul, you brought this up, and now people see when Blue Beetle ends up being the Iron Man or the Captain America of whatever DCU future is.
Well, I don't. May not be the.
I'm pushing it.
Yeah, but I do think that they're going to be beloved. I think that the Blue Beetle is going to be a beloved character. I think because it is a sweet character.
Well, let's hope so.
I'll jump onto one more, just also short. Which is this: Witcher season 3 has landed. or he's going to be landing soon, which is depending on where you are. Henry Cavill's last season as Geralt of Rivia, which is season 3 Witcher is going to be on Netflix. So just wanted to point out that it kind of a night like Superman gets announced and the release of The Witcher season 3 kind of thing. It might be the last season of The Witcher. No disrespect to Liam Hemsworth in any kind of way. But to me, Henry Cavill really, really did embody that character really well, and also he did bring a lot of respect and fan kind of love to that character. So I don't know yet. I can't really say for sure if I will be just like, nope, not gonna watch the next one, kind of thing. So
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
fair play to Henry Cavill. He brings a bit of nerd cred to things, which is nice.
Yeah. He won me over with they were doing an interview about first season 2, and he pointed out a chandelier and went, "No one will get this, but some of the audience will. But that looks like a Blackstone fortress, which is a thing from Warhammer 40k." So I was just like, "Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's a good lad for me."
To be honest with you, roids and working out and whatever else has got him to where he is physically. The guy can act. But also the fact that he can build the PC, at least it seems like he can, and that he's not afraid to say, yeah, I'm into some of these things. I'm into a lot of these things. That shouldn't be weird. It shouldn't be that all of the people coming to see this are the weirdos who like seeing all of us superhuman, normal people act for them. It's like models wearing clothes that no normal person could ever wear. He's bringing that, he's bridging that gap nicely, going, hey, I would go and see this because I'm into this stuff too. And that's nice. So fair play to him. I want to quickly, if you don't mind, jump back to No Hard Feelings because pop culture should have known it. And there was me saying, thank God people went out. Good people will have gone out and seen No Hard Feelings. Guess what pop culture just said? I enjoyed it. It was a sweet story. And I went to the theater to see it. I'm going to point at the screen. You're not supposed to do that. I'm going to point right at the camera. You, pop culture, are one of the reasons that we do this show, but you're also one of the reasons that I have hope for the cinematic world in general. Thank you so much for giving me hope at every turn. Good man. I'm going to go and see it now. I'm going to try and, if I can, get a night before it leaves the cinema and put some change in their pockets myself.
That'd be good.
That's cool. So, Paul, there's also Tron news, of all things.
Oh, yeah.
Tron 2 has a name now, number 1.
Tron 3?
Or Tron
3.
3, you're right.
Why did I say Tron 3? Yeah, Tron 3, Tron Ares has has a new name. This is the film that is being helmed by Rosberg, has Jared Leto in it, which is another person has also been announced as Peter Evans. You might know him as Quicksilver from the X-Men series, or he is a character within the American Horror show, or the Jeffrey Dahmer, which was
miniseries,
kind of a docu series, drama series kind of thing. Yeah, he's in there as well. Very interesting kind of character. Very interesting actor. I really like him.
Me too.
So
he was one of the friends in Superbad as well, wasn't he? I think he was like, the way, not Superbad. Superbad. Not Superbad. What the hell is a Nicolas Cage Batman? Kick-Ass. Thank you. Superbad. Jesus.
It might be.
He was one of the side friends in that, and was given very little. He's a charismatic dude. I'm hoping that he'll have a kind of a growing career. Dahmer did him good and bad as far as people's public perception.
I will say that we will pick this up after the break, with the advertisement, we'll
Thank you, Paul.
Bring that back. All right.
All right. Talk to you in a second. Beef Pie. There was Homebrew Quest. Hang on, that doesn't make any sense. Let me start again. YouTube is great for watching Hear Us Out, but what if you'd like a bit of D&D in your life? Homebrew Quest are a bunch of brilliantly creative Irish folks playing a homebrew Dungeons and Dragons campaign inspired by Irish mythology. But even more inspired by the brews they're drinking in each episode. Ireland's supposed to be the land of saints and scholars, but it's also got drinkers and YouTubers, one of which might look a tad familiar. So get yourself over to Homebrew Quest and join the adventure. Links in the description down below, or search term Homebrew Quest. Tell him Hear Us Out sent you. Thank you for that, Paul. I had missed a little bit of a timer there. So hope you enjoyed that wonderful advertisement for an even more wonderful YouTube channel. Go and check out Paul and his good friends at Homebrew. And go and see what the future Henry Cavill looks like, because we've already said, Paul, that you are Superman. And now, you share some of the same interests as a lot of people's favorite Superman, which is Henry Cavill. Look at you. Flex.
Peter Evans in the new Tron thing, that's an interesting kind of thing. I know this is the thing is I will say to everybody, I am the one who keeps bringing this story up. I have been constantly on the train of the Tron like Tron kind of thing, because it has been in production hell. And I'm just like, every time I hear a snippet of news, I'm just like, that's going to go into the monthly news right now.
It has come to the channel a few times, even before we were doing our monthly news. And Paul, we did a whole thing about how much we love Tron and Tron Legacy. And I'm really glad that you're keeping a close eye on that story, because these are the developments that make me think someday we could get it. And I'm really hoping that Jared Leto doesn't Jared Leto the hell out of this and ruin it in some fashion, because I'm just going to, cards on the table, folks. I fear Jared Leto. I fear Jared Leto's effect on things. Not the person himself, but his effect on things. His, from Morbius to Joker to just Jared Leto in general.
His character was in Blade Runner. I really enjoyed his portrayal of that character. It was a very Jared Leto character. So I'm hoping that they might just decide to lean into that a little bit more and go for it.
The dude has done some great work. He really has. It's one of those, I don't want to take my 50-50 chance with something. I love it when I see him in something I don't care about, and I'm like, could get a great Jared Leto performance. But when he's in something like Tron Ares, I'm thinking, I really hope we get the good Leto.
Yeah, no, definitely get that.
Don't spoil my stuff. So, Paul, how about a little bit of horror, a little touch? Is that where we should go?
Yeah, sure. Let's. So we're going to go to Insidious or
Insidious: The Red Door.
Yeah, so Insidious: The Red Door trailer dropped, check that out if you're a big horror person. The Insidious franchise has been an absolute great addition to the horror kind of scene. Some of the best horror movies that have come out in recent years. I actually watched Insidious 1 and 2 recently again, and as a horror person, they're so good. They're just so good.
There's a branched universe to Insidious, right? It's a bit of a juggernaut of we're talking about cinematic universes last week. Go check out our channel. It's Insidious, or the Insidious verse. I don't know if there is a phrase for it. Is impressive.
Yeah, I think it's Insidious verse or kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what they're going with. But yeah, no, it's got the Nun. It's got a couple of other ones that are spread around the place. So it's very interesting. It's good to see good horror kind of mingle together in a good way. So yeah, I'm really happy for this.
Is this, I know very little, again, Paul, you the horror guy, me the Karen romantic comedy guy. Are we looking at the end of the Insidious franchise? Because it's hinted in the trailer, but is that marketing?
So I say that it's probably hinted for the story that Patrick Wilson and
Vera Farmiga
play. They play which is the couple, the Lambeth, who are famous actual exorcists and demonologists, and they're actually real people. But obviously, the Insidious franchise has wildly blown out of their
Or has it?
or has it? Yeah. If the Pope's Exorcist is anything to go by,
I wasn't
which
expecting
there's
that.
there's a seedy underbelly of the world, which if you haven't seen, also a great movie, which is Kurt Russell in that film is ridiculous.
Is it worth it for the accent alone?
Oh god, yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
definitely.
Brilliant.
Pope's Exorcist is very good. It is based on an actual person as well. He every time he was one of my favorite things about this character, which is sorry for kind of falling over him.
Go for it.
He was the chief exorcist of the Vatican. Like 95% of his cases, he refers them to doctors, and like 98, like a high percentage of his cases, he referred them to doctors and psychologists. Kind of thing. But he has a journal about the 1-2%, which is just batshit crazy, kind of stuff. Where it's just like, because it's so hard to not like, it's so hard to kind of look at this stuff and be just like, no, he's absolutely mental. When the majority of his cases, he sends them to doctors. It's like it's unusual,
and that gives him a bit of credibility that he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not making me a believer straight away in the idea of exorcism, but it certainly lends a little bit of credibility to him that he's not just thinking, right, every person who is, acting a little bit odd, there you go, it must be the possession of evil spirits. But
which is
has life imitated art, and was Russell Crowe, do you think, possessed by Simpson stereotype of an Italian pizza guy? Because
it's very good. There's a scene where he's talking to essentially Vatican higher ups, and it's very funny.
Okay, I'm gonna check that movie out. I really do.
But yeah, so which is Insidious. Yeah, it's a great story, great characters, and everything. They also have an element of believability because a lot of them were also referring back to they referred other people to which is doctors and psychologists and stuff like that, and there is a small percentage of shows. They lost a lot of in Insidious 2, which is the haunting of a house in England. They lost a lot of credibility within that story, which is great to see it affect the movie franchise kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, I'm interested to see further.
I gotta put on my big boy pants and start checking out some of the good horror, because it sounds like Insidious, and maybe even some of its side ventures are well worth it. But it sounds like the main verse, or the main line of the universe. And I do love Patrick Wilson. And I'm getting your answer there. It isn't necessarily just marketing that this is the last one. This is probably Patrick Wilson's last one. Therefore, the starting group of characters, let's say, it might be theirs one song. If there's money to be made, we'll be seeing more insidiousness.
Yes. Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah, there'll probably be more either of the spin-off larger group, or yeah, they'll just bring Insidious back and kind of have the children of the Lamberts,
children of the corn. So Paul, can I ask you a question then as we move on? What's Rebel Moon?
Rebel Moon is a Zack Snyder sci-fi movie, which is I think it's coming out on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It is a movie about a woman going around recruiting warriors from different planets to help her defeat the dictatorship on her own planet. It's being marketed as a new Star Wars-esque universe, in the sense that it is wide. It is a good, wide, expansive kind of world-built kind of story. Not in the sense that they think that they are rivaling Star Wars itself, but that it is quite an expansive universe kind of thing. And they're already playing up to that thread by essentially visiting a lot of worlds and showing a lot of different kind of places and characters and stuff like that. It got a new featurette recently, which is just a behind-the-scenes kind of thing. It looks very good. That's why I'm kind of bringing it in now, halfway through the year, because probably from now or maybe even like from July or August, we'll start seeing a lot more kind of coming out about it as its release date kind of gets closer and closer. It will be on Netflix though.
One to watch out for. Yeah, December. I think.
Yep.
So I'm. Hey, it sounds like it could be a one of those great things. I have no problem with people taking from elsewhere. If you're taking the right ingredients, you can mix them together and make something wonderful and new. So take a drop of Star Wars, take a drop of Dune if you can, take a drop of Jonah Arc by the sounds of it. Whatever else they're adding in here, if it's being helmed by somebody who's had track record of success, so let's see. It'd be great to see if Zack Snyder can make something work. So that's one to look forward to. And kind of closing out the trailer portion of our news, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
As somebody who never played any of the now, quick brief recap on what I understand, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Five Nights at Freddy's really stems from a game that wasn't supposed to be creepy, that then people thought was creepy, and then they just went ahead and made some creepy games of the Five Nights at Freddy franchise, and now it's spun off and been popular, and now it's getting its own movie.
So it was a horror game, but it became such a horror game that there's tons of now games that kind of out about it, and then there's quite a lot of story kind of lore as well as the internet took hold and changed this around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's getting a movie. Its first trailer recently dropped. People saw the the Nicolas Cage Wonderland movie where Nick Cage plays a character who is marooned and then gets a night job to be able to pay for gas at a one of these like Chuck E. Cheese places, and obviously some horror things start appearing and stuff like that, and there's a little bit of a twist. But ever since they saw the success, the cult success of that, they thought, let's do Five Nights at Freddy's, which also has a massive cult following already, so kind of thing. And then also it's a fairly creepy kind of horror movie, which is about security. I don't know if the movie is particularly about this, but the games are essentially you are a night watchman, and you have to hide from essentially the animatronic characters. Otherwise, they will try to stuff you into an animatronic body, which will just kill you because it's essentially you being crushed against a wall by robots.
So Chuck E. Cheese gone wrong. Breaking Bad for Chuck E. Cheese. I'm kind of into it. It does look
ridiculous.
Exactly. Which, hey, it's not as ridiculous as Cocaine Bear, but it's got my attention nonetheless. So that's an interesting one. Then Paul, we've kind of got to talk about or do you have any more before we move on to things coming up next month? Is there anything else?
Challenger, Zodana's Challenger, Challengers.
Yeah.
That is the
word, yes.
That's the small kind of teaser trailer was recently released on Instagram and across the kind of thing. Looks interesting, which is my only although I started looking up the character that she plays, which it was an interest. They're interesting kind of characters. I do think, and I'm sad about this, and I really hope it's not true, that they might be playing off of Zardana or Zendaya's kind of Zendaya's attractiveness.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. I'm hoping that it's not that it's, I should also point out, not that she doesn't have in any way the actor chops to be able to play this character. She's going to absolutely destroy this character. It's going to be fantastic for her. But I do feel like this movie plays off of essentially her attractiveness a little bit too much, kind of thing. So I would wait for a second trailer or a trailer to see actually what the movie's going to be more like, kind of thing.
So if it's not lazy, it could be great. That's essentially it. Cool.
That's essentially it. It's essentially this. Yeah.
Well, then you have my attention. So they have a chance to not be lazy because Zendaya is definitely she's a star of the new generation, and I think she's definitely got the chops. But if people get lazy and just do what they've done for decades and decades now with attractive people, just fall back and not use the actual talent that they've hired. Interesting. Okay. Well then, Paul, at this time, in our news roundup, we look forward rather than backwards. So we've been looking back at the month. Let's look forward to the next one. We're just not going to talk about Indiana Jones. So anybody who expects us to, we're just not going to. Let's talk about what we're looking forward to that's being released and coming up. Paul, we both got to get this one out of the way first, if you don't mind, because it's Oppenheimer. It is
Yeah.
the biggest moment. I made plenty of jokes on previous live streams about the fact that Barbie and Oppenheimer are out in the same day, and I thought it's the greatest double bill that could ever happen. And you've been talking to me about that since, and
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
it's going to be amazing. But Oppenheimer itself, I think, has a good chance of being one of those. Oh gosh, yeah, isn't it great watching a Christopher Nolan film about a topic that it's a movie that's tailor made for somebody like me to love. Got all the ingredients. It's going to be dark. It's not going to be a happy show. I'm down with it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I saw the trailer. It looks like it's a really good kind of movie. It reminds me. I think the movie was called Fat Boy, or Fat Man.
That was the largest ever TNT based bomb, wasn't it? Fat Boy.
No, so it's a movie that has John Cusack in it as another. I think he actually plays Oppenheimer, but it's another one of those movie about the bomb kind of story, and it's a very good one. It talks about the demon core and stuff like that, which is very interesting kind of stuff. So it gives me that vibe, which is great. If because it gives me way more with Christopher Nolan at the helm and stuff like that. It's going to be an absolute fantastic movie.
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
So one to look out for next month, folks. Oppenheimer. I don't think it's going to be a failure. I think it's probably going to have a lot of people coming out going, "Oh, I was expecting explosions," or "Oh my God, why was it so long?" or "Why was it so brooding?" And then a whole load of other people going out, probably saying, "Ah, it's always so nice when Christopher Nolan gives us some Christopher Nolan, isn't it?" So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I did not bury the lead, and I kind of broke the water on Barbie already. So Paul, this is the great thing. Both of these movies are tailor made for me insofar as I also love the other end of the spectrum that is big budget, silly as heck, probably will be funny as all heck, but also layer in so much social commentary that you'll probably get slapped in the face with it. And I'm kind of fine with that in Neon.
It's going to be so interesting to see this play out, like why they've chosen essentially to pitch those two together. It's going to be such a different kind of vibe. I'm actually going to a double bill.
Well, have you booked it yet? Yeah,
I've booked that. I'm going to see Barbie, and then I'm going to see Oppenheimer, kind of thing. Because I think that's the only way that you could see those two. Going into Barbie after seeing Oppenheimer is going to be for anyone who's decided to do that, and I mean Oppenheimer, we're going to go dinner, Barbie, dinner, Oppenheimer,
perfect
kind of thing. But if you go Oppenheimer and then Barbie, man, that's going to be,
folks, for long-time watchers of the channel, I'm so glad that Paul is doing that, because if you go back and watch the first episode that we brought Barbie up and the fact that Barbie and Oppenheimer, I had banged on about a massive rant that this is one of the great chances in all of cinema history to do a double bill. And I was like, for those of you that are brave enough to do a double bill like this, do it. And you are. And then I said, and for those of you that are sick enough to do it in the Oppenheimer to Barbie way, you have my respect. Paul, I think I'm going to be doing it your way too. I don't know if I can eat my own porridge on that. I don't know if I would be able to get my partner to go from Oppenheimer to Barbie.
I just saw there pop culture said Fat Man and Little Boy. That's the one that I'm talking about.
I must check that out.
Yeah, I will talk indie. Got my tickets already. Taking my son, and he's so excited that I am hoping for a great sequel like Crystal Skull. Lol. Yes, I poked the bear.
I love you for that, because before reading the yes, I poked the bear, it was like hoping for a great sequel like Crystal Skull. I'm like, oh, you know what you're doing. You know us. But great wind up. So yeah, nice one. You're honorarily Irish, because that's what you're supposed to do to your friends, is find new ways to just wind them up and be like, yeah, no, it'll be a great sequel, just like Crystal Skull that we know you hate. And yes, the challenge is still out there. Pop, I know at some stage you and I are going to debate, or you, me, and Paul will debate on a large stage, possibly in an NFL stadium somewhere in the world, uh, whether or not the Crystal Skull was good or bad. Tickets it'll be like the Rumble in the
It'll be,
Jungle. You know, people want to hold
it'll
on
be
to their
fight
tickets and
night.
frame them for years.
It'll be fight night, yeah.
So Paul, there is one more that I want to mention coming up next month that because it's the blockbuster month of all blockbuster months.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Yes. Yeah.
Mission
That's going to
Impossible
be an
7,
interesting one.
technically Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is too long a title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I just
yeah.
It's Top Gun 2. It's, as far as blockbuster cinema goes, Mission Impossible, particularly this one, with its cast, with everything that's preceded it. Plug me in.
Yeah.
Like, plug me in.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun, like, the Mission Impossibles haven't really kind of let us down in quite a while, in the sense of kind of not delivering a James, and I don't want to, this isn't in any way an offensive kind of thing, an Americanized James Bond kind of thing. It's never not delivered on that fact, which has been great, kind of thing, because, like,
Far superior to James Bond at the moment.
For the recent history as well. Yeah, no, definitely agree there, kind of thing. But it's definitely give us the gadget, espionage, larger than life stakes, kind of movie franchises that we've always enjoyed. So I'm really looking forward to this. I am the stink of kind of him kind of being really annoyed about. I get it, but being really annoyed about Oppenheimer taking which goes the IMAX screens for quite a while. Just stinks of kind of like, just move the movie, man. You're always going to make, you're always going to make the money back on Mission Impossible, kind of thing. You've got such a good reputation because of Maverick, because of Top Gun Maverick, that you could have just put this a couple of weeks after like Oppenheimer and Barbie, and you would have made a mint.
The weird thing is, because like it's not, for me, Tom Cruise is not the thing that brings me to it, and I hazard a guess to say that it's the same for you. Tom Cruise is a big draw for a lot of people. He's not necessarily a big draw for me. I've changed my mind on him over the years, as in from a negative to a positive view, from an actor point of view. But the films as a whole, like what they do with Mission Impossible, just bloody works. And they obviously have been checking, like, my notepad, because that list I keep of our generation, who the people that are coming along that I'm like, yes, I'm glad we're getting them. Rosario Dawson, everybody on this, if you watch the channel for long enough, Rosario Dawson features. I'm like, people do not understand just how good an actress she is and how many brilliant actresses we're living in a time of. And guess what they went and did? They're like, well, we read that list, and Haley Atwell and Vanessa Kirby were free, so we're adding them to this. And they're both people, I think, deserve more in their careers. We may be talking about Vanessa Kirby as a Fantastic Four member in the future, if that casting ever gets closed out. But I think they're getting better film on film. Like, they added Henry Cavill at just the right time to add Henry Cavill. Okay, it may have messed up a mustache for Zack Snyder, or for whoever it was at the time that was trying to digitize out Henry Cavill's mustache in Superman. But they just seem to be able to take it and make it better. I expect like part 2 of Dead Reckoning to be just a list of everybody I've ever said is a great actor to be added to a film that is purely, hey, you know what you're getting, and we're going to do it as best as we possibly can. So, and big one.
Palm
Clementif.
She'll also be in it, which I
there's a lady with so much charm in the Guardians series.
Oh, Mantis.
Yeah. Being interviewed, like, she just, I want to have her around for dinner. She's one of those people like, you're just lovely, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just really down to earth and sweet.
I definitely agree there.
Yeah. So, hey, can we lose this month, Paul, on the big movie front? Now, don't get me wrong, we're not predicting a whole lot of small movies for this month to do well. That's because, unfortunately, for any of the small movies out there, there's so much radiation in the air from Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
There's so much action and smoke and probably motorcycles flying through the air from Mission Impossible. And Barbie. I
Yeah.
want to
It's
say
gonna
that
be
again. You don't have to say anything other than and Barbie.
Yeah.
Yay!
Um,
I love it.
I'll quickly go. So, Insidious Red Door comes out July 7th, which I'm also excited about. It's also why it's been on our thing. The YouTube Effect, that's a documentary about YouTube and its rise, kind of thing. I like it. Also should be really good. There is one more in my list. Where the hell is it? It's not Resident Evil. The Resident Evil is coming out this month. New Resident Evil. Where is it? God dang, my list is too stupid. Haunted Mansion, that's it.
There we go.
Which is Haunted Mansion comes out on July 28th. It looks fun as hell. It just looks good. It looks fun. I can't. That's all I want.
Heck of a cast. Heck of a cast
Oh
too.
God, yeah. It is a
Jamie
great
Lee
looking
on the
cast.
way too.
Yeah, so that's another one that I definitely I'm looking forward to. So
Good stuff. We will be talking about that this time next month at our July monthly news roundup. Thank you for joining us. I would just like to say, sorry, I'm going to check in for last comments. I'm excited about Mission Impossible, but annoyed that it's all about Tom Cruise stunts. Yeah, I really think they should stop over amping that motorcycle jump as the greatest thing on earth. They've kind of, from a marketing point of view, dipped too far into the idea that Tom Cruise does amazing stunts. We already know that. The rest of them, the amazing stunts are brilliant. The fact that he does them is amazing. But that can only be part of your marketing campaign. I agree with you there. They really are sticking to it a little too tight.
yeah, it should only be we have another Tom Cruise stunt, and there's like Mission Impossible gets one in every single thing, and then that's it. We all understand we always the format is just that.
Yeah,
It's just the fact is that we have one Tom Cruise stunt, but it's really kind of bad that they're just like for the last couple of trailers they're just like, have you seen the Tom Cruise stunt?
yeah.
And then we're also gonna get a story about how he broke his leg or broke his foot or broke his hand or broke his something or other kind of thing, which is in no way kind of like
Nope, not minimizing.
yeah, or anything like that. It's more the fact is that it becomes a formulaic kind of thing in the sense that it's just like, Tom, stop hurting yourself. We really want you to stay around with us as an action which should star.
Yep.
So yeah.
So yeah, again, Pop Culture, thank you so much for all your wonderful comments there. You've been a great part of the live show as always. For those of you watching in the future, get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts down below. Hit your like, hit your subscribe, and hit your little notification bell if you would like to make sure that the subscribe button ever tells you anything. It's just the way YouTube works these days. And also, just take care of yourself. Tell the people you love that you love them. Love all the people that you care about. It can be anybody from a friend that you haven't seen for a while. Reach out and say hi. Now is a good time. Paul, I want to tell everybody that spent their time with us that we're grateful, because I think we are always grateful. So thank you very much for all your time, folks. We will see you next week with a rapid review, and then in July when both Paul and I are seeking psychiatric help for double billing Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And on that note, Paul, I have been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
And we've been Heroes Out, and we will see you next time.
See you later.
Bye-bye, Barbie.